Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Sousa, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
Welcome back, ladies, to the Power Lunch Podcast with Tracie, Amy, and Lisa. I'm Lisa, and we are welcoming our guest today, Erin Barry, who is a public speaker and a retreat director. And Erin, what kind of got you into, what was your path to enter both those two completely different worlds?
I don't look at those as two completely different worlds. It is a lot of my life experiences that did lead me into becoming both the speaker and a retreat director. And like everything in life, it was a journey too. There's a few key experiences that I had. I was in an unhealthy and unhappy marriage. I was working an IT job that was unsatisfactory. My grandpa owned a retreat center or a resort. He owned a resort. And so all of those things came together, and I was searching for financial freedom and time freedom. I got into actually some direct sales businesses, and in those, I ended up realizing that I was truly desiring was personal freedom. So when I found that, and I defined my values, clarified my vision, I realized how powerful that was, and I wanted to share it with others. And some of those other experiences, like my son was in Cub Scouts, and so I did helping out, and I did some teaching in Cub Scouts, and that made me realize, you know what, I really love teaching people. And it was my grandpa's resort that was like, ooh, maybe I should hold retreats. And so all of those things just kind of created the seed of an idea. And then I had mentioned the IT position that I had. The company was acquisitioned. I thought I was going to lose my job, and I didn't. So,
Darn.
yeah, I know.
Right?
But it was, I started my company, Live Your Truth Seminars, and it was a 10-year transition because I did stay. So I started it during that time when I thought I was losing my job, but then they had the position. So then we went and I added life coaching during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been full-time for 4 years, and now I've jumped back into the public speaking, and retreats have always been a part of it.
You're such a good fit for this conversation. Our mantra for 2026 is, and I know that resonates with you quite a bit because of what you speak on and, just retreats. What have you noticed? What are the biggest signs a woman is living out of alignment and who she really is, when it comes to the power of you?
Wow. Well, I am really focused on living your truth, and that is being your authentic being, doing what's most important to you, experiencing happiness and fulfillment because you are doing those things that are most important to you and following your own unique path. So when you are connected to who you are, that awareness of, I had mentioned for me, I defined my values. I knew my values, but I defined them. When I defined my values, I started making choices that aligned with my center rather than conforming to other expectations, whatever it might have been. And then also the vision that I had for my life, rather than following somebody else's path, I started following my own unique path. So it's really, when you can feel it in your body when you are living more in alignment with yourself or not, because you don't feel as much stress and whatnot. So it's the authenticity aspect and it's the values and vision. And when you are making decisions based from that framework and groundwork.
Erin, a lot of women, they don't hear what they need to do. What would you say they should do, and how are they willing to disrupt their current life to change?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by do.
If they want to change, but they're not willing to disrupt their life to change, what would your advice be?
Start small. I mean, if you want to change, you have to build the desire.
Yep.
And so I have a morning routine that includes visualizing. So start imagining and visualizing that change that you want to see and how you would feel with that change.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that every day most likely will start bringing you into alignment to that change, and you might start changing without even realizing that you're doing it, because you're going to subconsciously feed the choices that you're making.
I love that you asked that question, Amy, because you've had some major changes in your life.
Yes, definitely.
So what was your decision to make a change?
I just started stacking the habits.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the books I read every year, or I listen to, because my friends tell me that leaders are readers, and I don't like to sit down and read because I'm always multitasking. So I listen to Atomic Habits every year. I try to listen to it in January.
Okay, who did you hear that from?
From you guys.
Tracie.
Yes, every year. Read it now 3 times or listened to it. Yeah.
I
Good for
love
you.
that
Little
book.
habits
And
every
that,
day have changed.
yeah, and that's the morning routine too for
Yeah.
myself. And when I want to add something in, I do that too.
Yeah.
It's so much easier when you're stacking the habits and
And for
adding
me,
it.
their weight loss goals and things like that, I need to now shift my mindset to the business side and start stacking those habits and getting out of the bad habits and creating the good habits.
Mhm.
Getting out of that negative mindset that we get stuck in sometimes.
Yeah.
Erin, hi. I'm so glad you're here. One of the things that you teach on is the WILD format, using the acronym of WILD. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So WILD is 5 actions or steps that you can take. W is wisdom, which is awareness. It is the values and the vision aspect. It is getting to know where you are and where you want to be. I is intuition, and that's the connection piece. And that is learning to listen to your heart and your body and even surroundings around you. Everything is interconnected in my world. L is love, and that aspect does have the positive mindset as well as well-being and taking care of yourself. One of the things that I found with so many women that I talk to is we'll get on the topic of self-care, and self-care comes second nature for some of it, and you need to go deeper into that soul care. Not just taking care of your physical body, but what's taking care of your heart and soul. So that's part of love. D, direction, that is purpose. So it's playing with life, I like to call it, and that is giving yourself the freedom to have curiosity, to experience different things, because the different experiences that we have help guide us, because our goals and our vision are always growing and expanding. So it's also defining your purpose, but I will share that I believe everybody's purpose is to live their best life, to be happy, and to just continually grow and become. If you have something specific that you want to label your purpose or define your purpose as, that's great, but just be happy and live to your best, fullest life. And then the last is live your truth. And live your truth is living in the present moment. One of the things that I really love to focus on with living in the present moment is interrupting your thoughts and asking soul questions when you are in the positive or the negative mindsets, so you can, what am I learning from this? Connect to gratitude, and it's being your authentic being. it is following that own unique path, and it is living in the present moment.
Of the 5 elements you just mentioned, wisdom, intuition, love, direction, and living your truth, which one do you think women skip the most and why?
Wow, that's a good question. Women skip the most. I think probably it is living in the present moment.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just hard to do. We are in a world and a society that is go, 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 go. And technology, I love it, and I also don't love it.
It's a love-hate relationship.
If you use it as a tool, that's great. But it's not just technology. Everything that we've get in life is a good or a bad, however you.
Oh yeah. Where's that next dopamine kick coming
Yes.
from? You know, I thought maybe you would say intuition, because intuition and fear are kind of like, how do you distinguish when, is it fear or is it intuition that is holding me back or helping me move forward? Are these similar?
I think yes, they're connected. And I did think about saying intuition because I don't think as women or even as human beings that we are as connected to our intuition as we used to be years and years and years ago. And intuition can help guide you if you do know your body's signals on what feels like you're making a decision from your center versus making a decision so that you might be going along with societal expectations or familiar expectations. But when you are learning to listen to your intuition or making a decision for a big change that is big or frightening, that fear does come in. And sometimes you have to push by the fear and listen to that intuition. Other times, your intuition is telling you that this is something you can fear. So I look at it that they're similar and connected.
Yeah, I'm just having an aha moment. I just never put the two in the same conversation.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Neither have I.
You could actually add 2 more letters to your acronym and do wildly, because you added L a second time for love and then Y for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm such a sap.
You're amazing, Lisa. I love this conversation primarily because it aligns with a lot of things that are going on in my life, and I hear with a lot of women right now. But one of the things that I just recently heard is that when we die, people, the biggest regret is, I wish I would have lived the life that I wanted to live, not what others wanted me to be. So I appreciate so much that conversation of living your truth. And I think that can become a challenge because we have so much noise coming into us every day about what is your truth, what is your purpose. So I appreciated also what you mentioned about our purpose, so to speak, or our fulfillment, our direction. And it a lot of times and I'll use myself as an example again because, she's the wisest one in my room. I often am looking for something outside of myself. When somebody says, what drives you? What's your purpose? What's your why? I'm looking outside of myself to say, well, is it this or is it this or is it why? Right? And the reality is it is exactly what you said. My purpose is to live this life to its fullest potential where, and happiness is not giddiness. Happiness is contentment. Happiness is progression. Happiness is growth for me. And I think everybody, because even though growth can feel challenging and overwhelming sometimes, it is on the other side of growth that fulfillment happens. So I really appreciate what you're saying. And I hope that our listener is hearing that, because when we're saying, what is my purpose? Remember that it's in you It's not what your mom and dad thought you should be, or your teachers, or your husband, or your wife, or your kids. It is truly what lights you up, and sitting in that and asking what truly lights me up. And where I'm now is going, what does light me up? What does give me purpose? What jumps me out of the bed in the morning? And I'll be honest, it's hard because I don't know if I've given myself space to really analyze that. So I appreciate what you're saying. It's just your message is so beautiful. When you do a retreat, and we have just a couple of minutes, so walk me through one of your retreats. What does it look like? Because I want people to know that this is a beautiful modality that's available to them if they're in that place of becoming their highest version. What would a retreat with you look like?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Retreats with me, I believe connection. One of my stories is actually defining my values, and I fought for that unhappy marriage because family was a value of mine. When I defined it, I realized connection is a value of mine. So on my retreats, I want everyone to be able to come and connect to their inner being, connect to others, and also connect to nature and the universe all around. So there's that connection piece, which is very important. And then I like time for a little bit of socializing, a little bit of alone time, a little bit of education, a little bit of just relaxed time or be active time. A lot of times I'll do tea ceremonies or cacao ceremonies. So long as the weather's nice, we'll have fire ceremonies. So it's just coming, and I hope people are able to relax, rejuvenate, and get connected, like I said, to their inner being, others, and nature.
Is there a retreat on the calendar coming up?
Not this year. I've got a lot of change happening in my personal life. So
You'll have
I'm
to
not
let us know when the
sure.
next one's
I
going to
will.
be. As soon as it gets put on the calendar.
Amazing, Erin. Do you have anything else that you thought coming into this room that you wanted to share, that you want our listeners to hear?
Well, I would share that I have written a book. So if you are interested in doing some of these explorations and going deep within yourself, you can read the book, and there's many questions in there to help you dig deep and get connected to your inner being and inner wisdom. And that is Live Your Truth, reconnect to your inner wisdom, and live your life.
And where can we find your book, Erin?
It is on Balboa Press. It is also on Amazon.
Well,
Fabulous.
we will include that in the show. People can grab a copy for themselves.
Thank you.
Ladies, anything else?
No, let's go. Great
Let's go.
day. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.